Hi folks, hope you're doing really well. Welcome back to another little video and welcome to Sunday afternoon in good old British summer. It's 11 degrees and the weather's pretty atrocious this afternoon. It's been raining quite heavily, stopped for a bit, then it's just started again. I've had to get the waterproofs back on. This is where we've come from, so we've come down the towpath today. You can just see on the horizon the kind of the Walsden Gorge. Right up in the distance is possibly Blackstone Edge, not too sure, might not be. Dobroyd Castle you can just probably see the roof of, which is an old John Fielding building towering above Tomberden. And we've come up Doghouse Lane today. Absolute unequivocal beast of a climb. I mean, I started walking when I hit 35% down at the bottom. Top section's just about rideable, kind of 14 to 20%, and a little flat section here before we start climbing again. So we're going to climb right up onto the tops, onto Tomberden Moor, and probably head over towards the Shanaford direction, so the kind of wind turbines up there. Just pootling around really on the gravel bike today, but so frustrating as well. I cleaned this yesterday, look at the state of it now. Anyway, it was clean for 5 minutes, so that's the main thing. But yeah, I thought the topic for today's ride, just how dangerous is cycling. It's a mix of perception, reality, and then every single cyclist's own individual opinion, I guess, and kind of preferences and level of risk. So yeah, I'm not going to talk about the old helmet debate, hopefully, in this video, but we will just talk generally about the topic of cycling and whether or not it's you know, it's generally a dangerous pastime, a dangerous thing to be involved with. So yeah, come on for the ride and we'll have a little chat en route. Right, let's get back on the bike. Well, the views just suddenly open up here. Amazing. And hopefully that's the last of the ridiculously steep climbing. So yeah, as you've probably gathered from some of my other videos, if you watch them, that I don't really subscribe to the view that the bicycle is just so inherently dangerous that you can't even get on one without wearing a helmet. And of course I appreciate that that is the law in some countries, in some states, and that's fair enough, you know. We follow the rules, we follow the laws, but by equal measure it'd be very naive to say that cycling doesn't have an element of danger. And oh wow, look at this view. I can see the tops of the wind turbines. We're going up there. It is mighty windy up here. I hope you can hear this. But yeah, I'll just get out of the wind and then maybe run through one or two statistics which I think are really fascinating and hint at some of the perceptions or the misperceptions that people have about just how dangerous cycling is. Oh. Okay, we're well on the way home now, back off the tops, and I tried to film a little piece to camera up there, but I think it was too windy, and yeah, I'm not sure the footage will be very usable. But I might have said at the start of the video, I think, you know, it'd be very naive to think that there isn't an element of at least some danger involved with cycling. And I've got a couple of statistics that I've pulled out of a fantastic book that I read recently by Peter Walker called Bike Nation. If I remember, I'll leave a link to it in the description. It's a great kind of deep dive into kind of statistics, perceptions, misconceptions around cycling, cycling infrastructure, kind of history, all that sort of stuff. It's kind of fascinating if you're a bit of a nerd like I am with statistics. But just a couple of things from that book, amongst lots of data and lots of information, that 80% of non-cyclists cite safety concerns, reasons why they don't get on a bike, and that's such a shame, isn't it, because of all the benefits that cycling brings. I think we need to do a lot more to get more people on bikes, and if there's genuine safety concerns, we've somehow got to address that as a nation, in terms of travel infrastructure and all that sort of stuff. An absolutely frightening statistic here. I'm not sure how it was calculated. There's citations in the book, but in all honesty I haven't checked this, but this is in the USA. Any moment of daylight, 660,000 drivers are looking at phones or electronic devices. And it's absolutely frightening, isn't it? Because you can be doing absolutely everything you need to be doing on the road, riding in the right position, being aware, making all the correct signals, all that sort of stuff. And if some numpty in a car or a van or a truck or whatever is on their phone or not paying attention and just plows into you, it's a tragedy, isn't it? It's just game over, and it's absolutely nothing that you've done. That's just like a frightening statistic. One of the other things I did earlier this morning is I went onto the gov.uk website, and there's some interesting stats on there as well, and this relates to 2018 to 2022, so over a 4-year period. And these are just average stats. There's obviously a lot more information on the site, but 2 cyclists died and 81 seriously injured per week in reported road casualties. So that's an average figure over that 4 years, but it's unbelievable, isn't it? And I can't believe that this isn't sort of headline news. I can't believe that the government and local authorities are not doing everything they possibly can to address that, and I don't get the sense that anything's happening on that front. Majority of cycling fatalities don't occur anywhere near junctions. Quite interesting, and I think a lot of people are very nervous about cycling around junctions, but statistically that's not where you're going to come a cropper, if you do come a cropper. A couple of other statistics here. 56% of fatalities occur on rural roads. I think that's quite eye-opening, isn't it? Because there's sometimes a perception that I'm not going to go into the city or the town because it's too busy and it's too dangerous. I'll stick to the quiet country lanes. But actually, statistically, you're more likely to, more fatalities occur on those rural, quiet country roads. 82% of cyclists killed or seriously injured were male. Interesting, and there's obviously a lot more men cycle, I think. You could maybe think about it in terms of men being more likely to take risks, more likely to cycle faster. I don't know, maybe that's debatable, but an interesting breakdown there. There's something happening on the male-female front, rather than necessarily there's some inherently dangerous aspect of cycling. So what are we supposed to make of all this, and is cycling an inherently dangerous thing to do? The honest answer is I don't know. I can just tell you my own view, I guess, at this point in time. I really don't think cycling is an inherently dangerous thing to do. I don't think bicycles are dangerous at all. I think what people do on bicycles can be, and I think where people ride can be extremely dangerous. And there's no question in my mind that, particularly here in the UK, we have a travel infrastructure that is just so ridiculously weighted against cycling. It's actually a scandal, and we have roads that pit cyclists against other road users completely unnecessarily, and for all sorts of historic and economic and political reasons that's the case, and it really does need to change. Yeah, particularly if you've got, like that statistic, 80% of people citing safety concerns. as a reason why, you know, they don't use bicycles. Yeah, I mean, it's not good enough for people like me that's reasonably comfortable on the roads, comfortable in traffic. But, you know, I just shrug off close passes, and pretty much every time I go out there's something happens that's, you know, would put the fear of God into a novice cyclist, and it just becomes the norm, unfortunately, in certainly in the UK. I really do like, sorry, got some little steps here. I really do like those cyclists now that are recording and reporting. I think there's a real utility in that. I don't think that's the solution though. I think for me, and probably this is where my views changed more recently, I used to think it was just about getting more people on the roads, almost forcing traffic to consider cyclists, because there's just so many of them, almost like a kind of critical mass idea of flooding the roads with more and more cyclists. But it's just not going to happen. People just won't take the risk, and I think for me now, it's about cycling infrastructure. And I hate to say it, I really do hate to say it, but it's kind of my view now that in towns and cities we need to segregate bicycles and other traffic. The critical mass idea is just, it's not going to happen, and it's taken me a while to, I guess, admit that, or realise that, to really get people out on bikes en masse. You know, more leisure cyclists obviously, but people using cycling for general everyday transportation. It's about infrastructure. It's about, you know, unfortunately segregated cycle spaces, you know, being able to traverse a city or get from A to B in a built-up area without having to mix it up with cars and vans and trucks. I think if towns and cities that do that, they just see an absolute mass of people coming out on bikes. So a few days ago on one of my bike rides, I popped into Morrison's to get a bottle of juice and a bag of crisps, and, you know, a classic case in point about infrastructure. No cycle parking apart from two little posts right round the side of the building, totally out of the way, perfect place for somebody to scope out bikes and bloody nick them in peace and quiet. And, you know, why don't supermarkets allow you to, or have some storage kind of inside the entrance, like a load of bike lockers with little wristbands, you know, like you used to get in the swimming pool, you know, swimming pool lockers. Why are people not, through infrastructure, encouraging cycling? I don't know. I'm starting to rant, aren't I? What you do on a bike and where you ride can be dangerous, and I think it's certainly fair to say that we've got a long way to go here in the UK in terms of infrastructure to make cycling feel safe enough that more and more people get out and get on their bikes and substitute car journeys for bike journeys. So I think all we can do is be aware of the risks, keep our bike skills tip-top condition, plan our routes well, and advocate for better cycling infrastructure. So yeah, enjoy your cycling, stay safe out there, take care. Thanks for watching as always, really appreciate it, and I'll see you on the next one. Bye for now.